Hi there, I am Katie and I'm going to show you how to put your jams on, or the way I do it. Not everybody does it this way, and so I'm just going to introduce you and then I'll show you how to do it just the way that I do it. You don't have to do it this way. There are a million different videos out there, but this is the way that works for me. So the first thing you want to do when you're applying your jams is go ahead and wash your hands and make sure all the polish and junk that you had on your nails before is off, your old jams or anything like that, or polish. So important things to do. You want to push your cuticles back. Now, pushing your cuticles back can be a pain, so make sure that your cuticles are soft, so that you've soak them in some soapy water, or I don't usually leave my jams off for a long time, so I'll take my jams off with some oil or something, some coconut oil or olive oil, or I'll soak them in soapy water, and then my cuticles are already soft, so then I go ahead and I push them back when I do that, and then usually the next morning or even then I go ahead and put my new jams on. Now if you wait a couple days, just soak your hands a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you. Now you want to make sure that you get all that cuticle back, because if you have any cuticle underneath your jam, it's more likely to come off, and you don't want that. So if you just make sure, well, I guess you can't see that very well because the lighting in here isn't that great, but just make sure that you push them back really far. And there's like invisible cuticle, so make sure you push down pretty hard. Now you can use a metal cuticle pusher. I either use one of these cardboard ones. It's a little bit hard to see. It's a cardboard one, as long as it has some kind of tip to push it back. Or Jamberry has these awesome ones that are rubber, and I really like that. And if you need one, let me know. And if you do a party, I usually send you one. So if you want one, do a party, it'd be great. So you can use this end, or they have the pink plastic end too. And this is good to, when you put on your jams, to apply pressure and get it in and under that cuticle, or under the skin on the sides and stuff like that. So that's something good. The other thing, once you get your cuticles all pushed back, you want to go ahead and take either like a little alcohol swab that you can get in the at the drugstore, and it's just like a square, like when they clean you off before they give you a shot or something like that. I just had my daughter, and I had a ton, because you have to clean off their umbilical cord, and so I had a box of 200 and I used that. Or you can just use a cotton ball and rubbing alcohol. It's no big thing. Some people don't like the alcohol. A lot of people use Dawn dish soap. Just make sure you want to get all the oils off of your nails, okay? And then you can start to apply your jams, and that's what you'll see next. Okay, so first I did this hand, and you can see looks pretty good. Next, the first thing I do when I put these on is I take my sheet, and I already did one hand, so this one's kind of cut in half, but I take my sheet and I find the one that I think is going to fit my finger the best, and I measure it. If you can kind of see, I measure it against my finger to see how long I need to cut it. So then I'll put it back down, and I'll find my scissors. Now, these are nail scissors. Usually I use straight scissors for this step, but I don't have any right now, so this is what we're going to do. You cut it a little bit longer than your nail, not too long. And then I take tweezers, and I use my heat source, which you can use a blow dryer or this little heater, and I heat it up, and I usually just heat it up until it curls. You can kind of see it curl. Maybe you can see it now. There it goes. See the little curl? And then I put it, now you can use your fingers for this, because really I've used my fingers a million times and they haven't come unstuck. But then you just apply it to the nail. See, I'm not going to be able to do that. You just apply it to the nail. And you want to make sure you get it real tight into nail beds here, but you don't want it to touch any skin. If it touches any skin, it's a lot more likely to come off, which I haven't had any come off really since the first couple times that I did it. Most of the time mine stay on for like 12 or 14 days. Okay, so I've got it on. It's got a little bit extra wrapped around my finger. See that? And then I take the secret weapon, the plastic bag, and I wrap it around my finger real tight. And then I take my heat source and I just hold it in front of there for about 30 seconds so I can feel it's warm. And then I move to the next finger. Now, you have to wait until this cools in order to trim it down. So usually I do the rest of the hand and then I trim it down and I file it. Now, if I just wave it around here, I'll show you. Okay, that's probably good. So, blow on it a little. Okay, so now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to lift this up just a little bit so you see it's a little lifted up. And I'm going to trim it down because now you don't want your nail to show, but you also don't want a ton of excess because then you're going to have to file too hard and it's going to hurt the tips. So then you take your nail file. I need to cut off a little bit more. And it's good to have like a little piece of paper or something right here to just stick the extra stuff on. Otherwise, you will find it on your floor for days. Okay, so then I take my nail file and I just file up and down like this. If you file at an angle, it's gonna make your jam all scratched up, and you don't want that. So if you can file at this angle, if you have longer nails, that's great. I have to really file up and down because I have short nails. So I just file. I'll show you. Okay, so as you're doing this, it's gonna start to, oh, that was our nail. It's gonna start to show through, your nail's gonna start to show through a little bit, and the extra jam is gonna start to come off, which is your goal. So you're just gonna file until that extra little bit comes off, and it just sands off just like anything else. Now I use a cardboard nail file because it's a little bendable. It works better in your hand in my opinion. Some people use glass, some people use metal. I like these cardboard cheap emery boards. Okay. There we go. And that is how you put your jam on. Now, there you go. Awesome. Alright, my final step is I take my straightener, just, you know, your regular hair straightener, and I heat it up. And then this is to kind of seal the edges and if you have any bubbles to help those out. So what you do is you heat up your hair straightener, which mine feels hot now, and then you take your metal tweezers and you just hold them against here. Get them nice and hot. Okay. And then, now be careful so you don't burn yourself, which I've never really done, but I've heard other people have done. So then, once they're hot, I'm going to heat them up a little bit more. You just run them along the edges here. And you just kind of just make sure that everything is sealed. It heats up that glue in case it didn't get heated up when you were putting it on. Okay. And then I just move the next one. Let's see if I can, I don't think I have any bubbles. I have pretty flat nails, but like on this one it's a little, for instance, let's see here. Okay. So this one, I have a little too much on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down, which usually is not part of this process, but I'm going to cut it down just a smidge so it's not on my skin. Now, it's not on my skin. Now I want to reseal it, so I'm going to hold this up. Get it nice and hot. And then I'm just going to run it along the edge. Run it along the edge there. Sometimes in the middle, but mostly just along the edges. And that will seal your nails or get any bubbles out that you had, in case like it got folded a little bit or you have really curvy nails and it tends to not lay on there just right. Okay, that's the final step. So then you're done with your jams and they look fantastic.